Let's take a look at Bitcoin and the altcoin market over the longer time frame. I'm not a trader, really. Sometimes I take some profits, but overall, I like to invest right now and take my profits in maybe like 1-2 years from now, once the bull run is like really going on. And therefore we want to know like, hey, where do things go? Or at least where might it go, right? We all don't know where it's going. But if we have a little indication, then we also know when to sell, basically. And I would like to show you my strategy on this. Maybe you can get a little inspiration out of it. So like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel for your daily crypto content. Turn the bell notification on so you won't miss it as well. Only 16% of the people are, I don't know, I don't look at these analytics, but I guess that you can just subscribe if you haven't done already. Everything at the moment of recording is taking a little hit, right? Especially if you look over the week. If you look over the week for the top 100 at least, there are some tokens doing pretty well, but one little scroll and we are already in the red. And most altcoins, including Bitcoin, by the way, are taking some corrections. Bank has the biggest correction, and you might want to ask yourself like, well, why did it have the biggest correction? Well, because it also had the hardest pump, right? And this is a good example. If something runs really hard, you always should be prepared for the fact that it could go down really hard as well. A lot of people made insane money on Bank, but if you get dragged into the hype with things like these and you buy it around this place, yeah, then you should be prepared to at least now already lose 50%. So don't buy the pumps too much, I would say. Everything is cooling off a little bit right now. Crypto was on a fantastic run, and basically Bitcoin 2023 was up only. But nothing is up only forever, as we know, right? So even though Bitcoin is in this great uptrend, at a certain point there will be a little downtrend, even during the bull markets. If you zoom out, you'll be like, oh yeah, Bitcoin here in this last bull market went only up. But there were a lot of 30% corrections in this period of time. We haven't even seen a 20% correction so far, right? So it's not that weird if we go down a little bit, but that's on the shorter time frame. I want to talk about the longer time frame. Now, if we do take a look at the longer time frame and we pull up some indications, such as the stochastic RSI, I think this is a really interesting indicator to use. The stochastic RSI is basically a momentum indicator, and it just shows you is something overbought or oversold. Can you trade it? Not really. Like, yeah, maybe on the shorter time frames you could say like, hey, when everything is oversold, I'm a buy, and when it's overbought, I'm a sell, and that might work. However, if something is overbought and it is in that area, it could stay there for a while the asset is going up extremely hard. I'm gonna show you in a second. But first, for the relative shorter time frame, well, the weekly, it's not that short, but the stochastic RSI is finally going down, right? And we are out of this overbought territory. Now, what does that mean? Well, basically it means freaking nothing, because yes, most of the times when we go down, like here we were there, we went from like $28,000 to $24,000, right? Here we went down and we went from 21 to 15. Here we went down and we went from 50 to 18, right? Overall, if this is actually pointing down already, then the downtrend has usually begun. But we can also see that, for example, right here, yeah, we were going down, but it was basically in the middle of an uptrend still. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the market is bearish for the longer term. It just means that at the moment, the market has to cool off a little bit. That's understandable, of course. But now I want to show it to you on the monthly time frame. I think this is quite interesting as well, because we do not have major history on Bitcoin, right? It's only here for like 14 years. And this chart goes back to the exact beginning. Now, well, not exact, but yeah, to the beginning, give or take, right? And we were in this overbought territory not many times. Once, maybe you can count this as 2, 3 times. Here's Bart. And this the beginning, but yeah, then again, this was so new and low liquidity that is it actually measurable? Well, at least let's take a look at it. So we are now in the overbought territory on the monthly, right? Once we are in the oversold territory, that's a bear market, right? In the overbought, that's a bull market. Now, if as soon as we are oversold, like here, it doesn't mean it's a good idea to just right away buy, right? Because even though we were here, yeah, this was the top of the bull market, right? This was the exact top. This was here. So that's not the best indication, really. But you can also say the same thing here, like, hey, we are finally overbought. Yes, like I said, we could do this for a while, right? And then go down. And in the meantime, the price does this. It's possible, right? It's definitely possible. Now, if we look, whenever we were overbought like this, we are now June, so we are overbought for 6 months right now, right? So here, we started in July, so let's say until December, we were overbought. That was this period right here. This period, right? But the actual bull market still had to begin, right? If you wonder what the purpose is of what I'm saying is, a lot of people, they might look at things like these and be like, oh, we are overbought, so you should sell now. I think this is when you are overbought, that's when you should like expect that things are going to take off and not already took off. We have a very good example here in 2015, 16, 17. We were overbought. And although, of course, if you would have bought it like here, like 6 months after being overbought, yeah, you would have bought it at $600 instead of 160 or so. But it still went up to 20K. So did it really matter? We stayed overbought for like two years, more than 2 years. We stayed like that. And in the meantime, we got a parabolic bull run right there. So overall, this is a good indication, right? Even if we do something like this and then go up, right? Like we did in the last cycle. That's also a possibility. So that's one thing that I'm looking at that makes me very bullish for the long term. I want to show you something else. This is the caution channel, and this works with moving average basically. And what you see that once we are in the red, it is like the accumulation phase. It's red sounds like, oh, bear market, fuck sell. No, not really. Red is more the accumulation phase. So as you see right here in 2012, it already started. If you accumulated Bitcoin right here, hey, did you miss the bottom? Yes, but then again, you should not try to time it anyway. If you bought during the red phase right here, you would have done amazing. Again, here in 2015, if you would have bought during the red phase, you would have done amazing. This was the complete accumulation phase, basically. The last bull market, well, bear market, same thing. Once it was red, accumulation phase. So whenever we get the next bear market, probably 2026 and 7, remember that, you know, it's not a guarantee that it will work next time. But so far, every time, once this was red, start buying. Start buying. And once it's green, you can still buy, but the best opportunities, you had it, right? In this cycle, nothing different. It turned red in May 2022 when Bitcoin was sitting at 26, 30K. If you invested all the way from 30K to 15K, this whole area, you have an amazing average dollar cost entry. And now you are really feeling that it starts to pay off. Now, we are green, right? We are green. So that's a good thing. And how long does it usually stay green? Because that's the time where we have a lot of fun, right? If it turns green, we have a whole bull market in front of us. Or basically, the top is at least when it's still green. So if we for example, take a look, once it got green over here and we take it to the top, that was 88 weeks. Okay, once it got green over here and we take it to the top, that was 98 weeks. And once it got green over here to the top, it was 118 weeks. If you take it to the first top, which is, it was technically the top, but also, yeah, it's just not the top because it was lower than what it was over here. But what you notice, it is all, the average is around 100 weeks, right? So it means that if we take it 100 weeks from now, we should at least stay really bullish until like mid, and if you take 110, late 2025. Now also, once it starts turning green, do you still have a little time to accumulate? Well, on the last cycle, from it turned green until, well, this point, really was the, I don't say you can't accumulate right here, still make gains, but the best opportunity from the moment it turned green was 22 weeks, right, in this case. From this moment, it looks a little longer though. If you take it from here, yeah, then it depends. It's like here it started to really go parabolic, right? So it was around the same 22 weeks. From this point, this is actually longer, I think, because here we had our beautiful COVID crash. So that gave us a little extra time. It was 62 weeks. Okay, now from the moment it turned green, we are in with like 24 weeks. So if you want to buy Bitcoin, like I would say, okay, there is still probably a good correction coming, and that will definitely be our last chance to accumulate, because I am also like majorly bullish on the long-term price of Bitcoin. If you take a look at these trend lines, and especially this one, right? This is the uptrend that Bitcoin has been in over the longer time frame, right? So if you take it from November 2022 until now, actually, and it's not completely accurate, should be a little higher right here, but that's a trend line. So as long as Bitcoin is holding this trend, hey, it's bullish. Now, the thing is that we can basically go sideways for like, well, almost a year and still be in that bullish pattern. It doesn't sound bullish if Bitcoin does something like this, right? Like, boring as fuck, right? What we can also do on a shorter time frame is do something like this and then grind up again. Also painful and mainly boring. But as long as we are in this uptrend right here, I would say like, hey, it's all good. What I'm also looking at is you can draw a parallel channel over this, and you know, these patterns and channels and this and that, it's accurate until it's not, right? So yeah, you can predict a little bit on it, but don't assume that it's going to happen just because two lines say that it's going to happen. If just drawing two simple lines is going to determine your financial future, then I will be painting like Picasso. But unfortunately, that's not really the case 9 times out of the 10, but maybe this is one. Nevertheless, this is looking quite cool, right? We have seen the top here, we have seen the top here, we have seen the bottom here, the bottom we had a little wick right here, but the bottom here again, so far pretty accurate. We have a mid-range right here, which seems quite accurate as well. And Bitcoin can do whatever the fuck it wants as long as it stays in this channel for another 2 years. I am perfectly fine with that, because the lower side of this channel at the end of 2025, when I expect the bull run is going to end, is $50,000. The thing is that in a bull market, Bitcoin is not sitting at the lower side of it, but at the top side of it. And if we do take a look at the top side of it, then Bitcoin is sitting at $370,000. And it sounds a little hard to believe, like $370,000, but yeah, Bitcoin is quite known for going up quite hard in a bear market. So far, I've done that every single time. So, hey, why not this time as well? And also, if you do take a look at the logarithmic regression band, you'll notice as well, I've said this a couple of times before on the channel, in a bull market, Bitcoin tends to go at least near or touch the upper band, the red band. Here we almost touched it, as you see. Here we went in it, right? In this bull market, we went in it, and in the last bull market, we touched it, right? So we at least always come close. Now, at the end of 2025, when I think everybody kind of expects when the market is going to top out, the end of 2025, the lower rep band is sitting at around 300K and the upper band is sitting at 450K. Hey, could this time be way more bearish, and could we just go to this band right here of 150K? Everything is possible. So far, we have outperformed that move every single time by far, right? So it would be a little like, I don't expect us to go all the way down to the green band. We could go, of course, closer than the previous markets. But that at least tells me that, hey, $150,000, if we reach just that, that would be exceptional bearish, actually. And a lot of people would be like, yeah, well, that's a lot, but it's just a 3x for me. It's not like, it's not that much, right? We haven't even seen the halving yet, right? And that's interesting, because if you do take a look at the halving, that's the white lines, how much since the halving did we go up anyway? Well, from this halving to this top, we went up 9,000%. From this halving till this top, we went up 4,000%. And from this halving till this top, I have to do it accurate, we went up 700%. So are there diminishing returns? Of course. But let's say we now go up 300%, right? That's a 4x. What if we do sit around this price when the halving occurs and we just go up 300%? 300% would put Bitcoin at around $170,000 or so. So although it sounds like a lot of people, because the 100K barrier is a psychological thing, right? So although it sounds like, oh, it's never going to happen, I don't see many reasons why it won't happen this time. And let me put it like this. 150K, if that happens, it disappoints me. And it shows that Bitcoin is actually slowing down really hard, and that this time is really different. But yeah, in this case, 200K should at least happen. Also, please note that this is the fair value for Bitcoin. And there was no single bull market ever where Bitcoin was below the fair value, because in a bull market, Bitcoin is, of course, way overpriced, right? In the bear market, it's underpriced, and in the bull market, it's overpriced. In this bull market, the fair value, let me there are three bands. Let me take the upper band as an example. The fair value was sitting at around $4, but Bitcoin went all the way to 30, so it went way above it. In this bull market, the fair value was sitting at $170. Bitcoin went to $1,100. This bull market, did I say bear market? This bull market, the fair value was sitting at 5K. Bitcoin went to 20K, right? And in this bull market, the fair value was sitting at 30K and Bitcoin went to 60K. So far, Bitcoin always at least goes twice above the fair value. Now, where does the fair value sit at the end of 2025? There, the fair value sits at $180,000, right? Hey, maybe we only go 0.5x above it, right? This is also diminishing, but still, it never went below the fair value, right? So there are a lot of things that we can say like, yeah, well, but this time, well, let's see if that happens. And before that happens, I'm not counting on it. That would be betting against literally all odds, right? So long term, I'm mega bullish on Bitcoin. Especially if you do take a look at this. Bitcoin, you realize, Bitcoin did this, right? It went from 15K to 50, give or take. Bitcoin did a 3.5x, right, over the last year. 3.5x already. However, if you do take a look at the people coming into crypto, in that time, which was from the end of 2022 until now, This was the amount of people that were in crypto, so watching YouTube videos, subscribing to YouTube channels, etc. It went down, it went up, but overall we are sitting at the same place, right? So there are not even really a lot of new people coming into crypto, and Bitcoin already does a simple 3x. What if, like every bull market, new retail comes in, and it's usually after the halving, right? Because then it gets interest, it's all over the news, there's always interesting stuff. Here, October 2020, Bitcoin really started to rip. What happened in October 2020? Let's take a look. Oh, that was after the halving, by the way. Well, October 2020, there we go. October, which is here. Why did that happen? Well, I think because retail just saw Bitcoin go from 3K and breaking all this huge resistance that we had over here. Bitcoin was trying, and didn't work. Here we broke it. And all of a sudden, then the retail steps in, right? Now it looks like we are trying to do the same thing. So we could, of course, bounce here for a while and go back to like 33 or maybe 40, whatever. Just it's overall, it's a bit sideways, right? I do think once we really break 50, that's also a big psychological barrier. Then we can see the social metrics going up as well. And a lot of retail steps in, and yeah, that drags the price with it again. And that's a vicious circle. How do you call that? So yeah, bullish. That's kind of my like. A lot of people that are already familiar with this channel have seen me bearish or bearish. I'm never bearish. I always say like, hey, the price says that it's probably going down short term. So, hey, I prepare. It's not me being bearish. I like low prices because I'm bullish on Bitcoin. But a lot of people hear me talk about price going down. But in the longer term, it's crypto. We are going up, guys. It's like every time everybody thinks it's over, it's not gonna happen, this time is different, blah, blah, blah. And then it does exactly the freaking same. And we are in the bull market, we peak out, we're in the bear market. And it's like, fuck all the news, and this time is different. Just look at the charts and you'll notice that it is like the same every time. And of course, the returns are diminishing. There's more money, more liquidity, so it needs more to move the market. And that's what you can see right here as well. This is the ROI after the halving. This was the cycle, the blue one, in 2013. This was the cycle in 2017, and this was the cycle in 2021. So we could, of course, say like, well, the cycle of 2025 or whatever is going to be here or something like that, right? But it's all good, because if we do get a 3x on Bitcoin and we are sitting at 50K, that's still $150,000 for Bitcoin, right? Can you imagine what altcoins are going to do? So let's talk about that in a different video, because this one is taking long enough already. But really quick, this is the total 3, the altcoin market, but this includes stables and all that bullshit, but still it's a chart. And what we can see is, hey, we broke this resistance, this red box, great, right? But now this yellow line is resistance, and we just got rejected right there. So could we bounce a little bit between these two right here? That's definitely possible, as long as we hold this $400 billion. So the total 3 has room to fall for like 19%. But that doesn't say shit, because stables are included, right? And they don't fall 19%. So the altcoin market actually has to drop more to compensate for that. And therefore you want to take a look at others, right? Now the others chart is everything excluding the top 10. So no USDT, no USDC, no Bitcoin, no Ethereum, no Solana. So more like really altcoins. And as you can see right here, we are ranging as well. And I do think that it is super important that, let me draw a line over here, that we hold at least like, well, around this level right here of 140 billion, give or take. Want to do it perfect, put it on the weekly. This is give or take what we want to hold, right? So also we can hover around here for a while, as long as we hold this line right here. If we do break that, then yeah, then we can see new lows. But hey, I don't expect it to happen, right? But everything is possible. We know it's crypto. If Doge can go to 80 cents, then the whole market can drop within a day, if you ask me. But going down there, it's actually 32%, right? If you do see that happen and it bounces, wait for confirmation, take it as an opportunity, because crypto is not going anywhere, but the short-term news can wreck you and get you out of the market. So please be prepared for that. I want to wrap it up right now. It's been long enough, but if you do like the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're here every day. Turn the bell notification on. There's Patreon down below where you can get a lot of exclusive early content. Patreon has a lot of stuff that you would love probably. So do check it out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.